Welcome, I am the Myth Viewer, aka Vic, and I am currently on a journey to finish Act 1 and get that done, because I've been stuck on it for way too long. And to do that, I am making a series of writing challenges that make this a little bit more interesting to get myself to get it done. In this week, I have decided to create what I call the writing jar. I have put multiple prompts and stuff into this, and I'm going to pull out a new one every day or 2 days, and that will decide the mini challenge that I will be attempting this week. So let's get into it and let's see what the first one is going to be. Okay, what shall it be? Journal before writing. Okay, that seems easy enough. So I will have to actually reflect on what I am going to be doing and writing before I get to it and not just dive in, which should eliminate the problem where I sit at the scene and don't know what I'm going to do. And then I immediately went and did something completely different. This is ADHD in practice, and why you should never leave me unsupervised on a day off. Because what do you mean? I pulled out the canvas that has been waiting for me for like 1 year, and I finally designed the border for the map oil painting, and then I spent the next hour trying to figure out how to transfer a grid onto a piece of cardboard that is almost 2 meters big. And like the lines are not perfectly straight, they are wonky, and whoever is looking at this probably thinks it's not a good grid, but it's a map. It's supposed to be organic, it doesn't have to be fully precise, it just has to tell me roughly where things are, just so I don't get off the perspective and size of things too much. So that is fine. And then something else happened. At first I was thinking I wouldn't mention this and I wouldn't talk about this because it's the difficult personal stuff, but here I am. So as you can see from the painting and my general mood previously, this day was a very good day. I was very happy. I went on a walk in the forest and to the spring and got some water there. I started that painting and I watched Stranger Things with Mother, and we only have 1 episode left, the very last one. And I was happy. And then I came to my room at like 10 p.m., sat in my chair, and just got hit by anxiety. And I was looking at it like, what? Why? What is going on? And I was poking into it because, of course, I have been doing a lot of introspection and trying to figure myself out lately. The problem this time was I may have dug a little too deep and triggered the High Lord of Anxiety. Not the typical one I have usually, the existential kind. The anxiety about anxiety. The will I be always in this cycle, always suffering for the rest of eternity? Can I never be happy and fulfilled? What is going on? Yes, exactly this kind. This one, which is extremely difficult to fight against and extremely hard to deal with, frustrating and just horrifying. I have been hit very hard by this in 2021, and I thought I was over it, but apparently not. But this time it was a little different. So, like, yes, of course, I got triggered and I started my anxiety attack and trouble breathing and shaking in my chest and running around trying to find like, magnesium and something. And I made some tea to calm myself down and like take control of it, which is not always the greatest idea because it puts me in the mindset of checking if the anxiety is still there. And if it is, then I panic even more because how is it that my coping mechanisms aren't working? Then I analyzed it further and I was looking at it like, I know you. I have dealt with you before. You're not as impossible to deal with as you present yourself as. I have living proof that I can get out of this cycle and that the hardest moments do not define what my life looks like as a whole. So, of course, it cannot grip me completely. And so then the anxiety sort of waned. It's still there a little bit, but it's not in control anymore. And then I went, okay, that was rough. Let me change the lights on my keyboard to something a little more new, a little more whimsical. And that just summarizes the way I have been coping with stuff so much over the past few months. It's like crisis, and then oh, about the book. Oh, I got new pens. Oh, I changed the lights on my keyboard. Oh, I made a new drawing. But since I have been doing a lot of this, I only got to the journaling session very late at night, but I fluttered about in the journal and I landed on a page from 2 months ago that has finally managed to answer the question that has been keeping me stuck on this specific chapter, this specific scene, ever since I wrote that section in the journal and I completely forgot about it. Because, of course, just my luck. Just my luck. Anyway, so that means I have the answers and I can at least know how to proceed with this chapter at last, and I don't have to wade through unknown territory. But it's also 2 a.m. and I'm not going to start writing now. So, journaling done, crisis averted, answers found, and good night. I'm not being more productive tonight. I come back with very good news. After the journaling session the other night, I finally sat down yesterday to write, and the candle for wisdom I was using for the journaling like refused to light up, and I was like laughing at that because apparently it gave all the wisdom and was just saying, just go do it. So I went and I wrote 1,000 words, finished the damn scene that I have been fighting with for 2 months. 2 months. Because, yes, I have figured out the one missing information, but that's not all the missing information. And so I did have to deal with things on the spot while writing. And this scene, while short, is very technically difficult and doing a lot of heavy lifting in the draft to come because it had to set up a whole new character, his motivations, describe him slightly villainous, but still very understandable, very human, very, oh, my daughter would like this as well type. And that he genuinely cares about the main character, but also being extremely manipulative and doing things for his own goals. And so this was the type of scene where the character is thrown head in. He thinks he's figuring out the manipulation and fighting against it, and going out of there, like rejecting the proposition of that character and then realizing that's not what happened. Because the other character was telling him, was trying to manipulate him, but in this specific way where everything he says is technically true. It's just stripped of context in such a way that he cannot recognize what this is actually like speaking about, and thus the character Peter is basically reacting emotionally, giving away the information he was supposed to keep secret because he got too worked up, and also it makes it seem like the other characters trying to manipulate him into hating Aurora. That's not the case because like it obviously isn't working. What he realizes in this scene is how much he has started to trust her in this like 1 week that they have known each other, to a maybe dangerous level considering how powerful and scary she is, and then realizing, oh no, that trust is maybe not based on actual evidence and lived reality, and what if his trust and care is misplaced and she actually is what the people are saying. So he leaves from there kind of rejecting the proposition, rejecting the manipulation, but actually the manipulation succeeded because now he has doubts and now there is a crack between him and Aurora. Yeah, that scene was doing like 10 things at once, and all needed to be very subtle and very nuanced. So I think the journaling thing has run its uses, and that means now I get to dive into the last section of Act 1, the 3 chapters of the actual festival. And so today I want to go right outside yet again, but it appears everything is fighting against me, including the weather. It has been, as I said previously, quite cold and rainy this past, 2 weeks. Today it was supposed to be warm and sunny, 25 degrees and clear sky. And it was like that the entire time I was getting ready. And then I am about to leave, and there's like rain clouds everywhere, and it's by feeling not as warm as it's supposed to be. So I had to redress like 3 times to try to figure out something that is appropriate for the vibe, but also for the weather and not making me freeze, because I have woken up today with a little bit of a cough. So, no cold for me. Either way, I think we should take this jar and figure out what will be the challenge for today and tomorrow. What? Exploring side characters, which is quite interesting considering the scenes I am about to dive into. So yes, that is quite fitting, and that is the setup for the next day. And now, because it's almost 4 p.m. and I haven't eaten yet, I think it's time to head out. When I was packing for going out here, I was wondering, how will I actually manage to write? Because here I need the draft one to see what was happening, but I cannot access it here because I don't have internet on here and just use Notes, not Scrivener. And then I realized, actually, I have this, which is the printed copy of draft one with all the notes that I have made, like back in October? So I actually know what is going on and what I was thinking about it and what I should change, which is not something I can access in Scrivener itself anyway. So I guess that's a win. we have Thursday now, and I got my work shift cancelled yet again. So I have another free day that I don't know exactly how to use. So what I am thinking is that I am craving a matcha quite a lot. I have been craving a matcha since last week, but as I mentioned in the previous update, I was having some weird things with my throat happening, so I didn't dare to take anything icy. But that's gone. So I have no excuses now. Which means I am thinking about going to the mall and grabbing a matcha and then going to write somewhere. Issue is the matcha place is just like a bar thing and it doesn't have seating at all. And my previous expedition to the park showed me that taking the book printed draft with me is not good enough, and that means now I have to transport my entire laptop with me every time I want to write outside. The iPad is good for writing new scenes or explorations or vibes or just like note taking and bullshit. But it's not good for the section I have ahead where I actually need the draft one. I need to have it side by side and actually see what I am doing word for word. So I need my Scrivener setup, but the issue is my laptop is heavy. Ending. Is where am I going to sit with it? Because there is the roof or there is food court. Food court is just like no, that's not the vibe. But it's 30 degrees outside, so will I get scorched on the roof? Also with the laptop. So that's the question for right now. But I have been thinking about this for the past 2 hours, unable to make a proper decision, and finally I actually got dressed and ready to go. So I guess the best case scenario is to just go and figure it out. But anyway, I do have an actual writing update. I have sat down yesterday and started working on chapter 21, which is the start of the festival. And oh my, is it fun to be back in proper draft 2 territory where I'm not having to make up scenes and bullshit and figure out how to stitch things together, but actually look at the scenes from draft 1 and just improve on them. And it's working. I have written almost 2000 words yesterday, which is funny because draft 1 version of this chapter is 1500 words and I am at 1700 and that's just the first scene. There's 2 more scenes. So as you can see, I have slowed it down and actually set up the setting and the mood and everything and the character interactions much better this time, and everything is taking the time it needs instead of rushing through it to get it done. Speaking of the side character challenge that I had previously, the good part is that I have managed to expand the role of a background character in this scene, especially the priest. Previously, he was just kind of there to. How to even explain this? So he was there mostly as a function to like introduce people to the temple and the festival, and then disagree with Aurora on stuff about the Eternals. But now he actually feels like a person and not just like a tool, so that's great. But the character I have tried working on and improving and keeps slipping me every single time is Princess Cassidy. It has been a problem for what? Years at this point? Like, there is something about her that just doesn't work, and that makes me not put her in scenes in an active way very much, which is a pity because she's a very fun character and people seem to enjoy her, but I just cannot figure out what to do with her, and that so stupid. I don't understand where the difficulty is coming from, but apparently there is one. So, yeah. I have been yapping for 5 minutes already and got nothing done, so let's grab the challenge for today and let's get going. See what the writing jar gives us today, since I guess none of the challenges are very compatible with my recent desire to be out of the house and write outside. Okay, so after a bit of shuffling, the one I have landed on is the 5-minute sprints, which is a method I like to use to get myself productive because I don't like long sprints. They do not work for me, and the shorter, the better for my attention. But will it end up being a problem in my current writing setup? That's the question. So let's find out. Well, this is quite unfortunate. I thought my bag was rather big. Apparently, the laptop only fits into it vertically and not horizontally because it's just that wide. Oh well.
У дібровах зелених, по забутих стежках. То-то-то, всіх святих да собі звав. То-то-то, то-то-то, то-то-то.
Well, I think the time has come to finish this vlog with the challenges. Why? Because I have somehow managed to write, what, 5,000 words and finish 2 chapters. So this is an immense success, and I have finally gotten out of the strange writing slump I have been in. Also the art slump, as you can see with the oil painting behind me. And that has put me in such a great mood in general. Like, life is good, everything is perfect, wonderful. Now, the next part of the writing, which is the next 3 or 4 chapters of the festival itself, that cannot be handled with these challenges because that part needs basically just sit down and truly think about it and figure out what I am doing, and that's not compatible with doing whatever other nonsense and fun this was trying to get me to just write the words out. The next part is a bit more complicated than that. But I am in a, as I said, I am in such a mood that I think I can handle that without basically manufacturing ways to get me writing. Like, I am finally able to just write by itself. So yes, that's it from me, and see you in the next one.